So the topic for today is dedication, which we do at the end of something. Yeah. And dedication is also a practice of generosity. In the second limb, we made offerings to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and Sangha and so on. And so that was one practice of generosity. In the seventh limb, dedicating the merit, that's another practice of generosity. And so here we think of dedicating our merit for not only our own enlightenment, but the awakening of each and every sentient being. However long that takes, for as long as space endures, we are in it for the long haul. And so we're dedicating the merit for that purpose. They say that when you dedicate for full awakening, then all the other things come as a byproduct, such as a good rebirth, meeting good teachers, and so on. Yeah. So, but if you just dedicate for good rebirth, then you could get that, but that won't necessarily lead to full awakening. So that's why you always dedicate for the highest, and in that way, you cover all your bases below that. But I think it's also very helpful for us to think specifically of a good rebirth, specifically of meeting qualified Mahayana and Vajrayana spiritual mentors, specifically of having a mind that has faith and a mind that has correct view. Because when we think of very specific things, we're also directing our mind very closely towards those things, which are qualities that are very important. So when we dedicate, we're steering the merit in that direction, but we're also reminding ourselves that these are qualities we want to develop. Okay? Because sometimes we could think, oh, full awakening, but then we don't think of what else we need to accomplish that. Yeah, we don't have it in our mind, kind of as if we're going to go from now to full awakening without three countless great eons in between, or even one life in between. So it's important, I think, to think of the different qualities and situations that we want to have between now and full awakening. Yeah. And again, people have different tendencies, different kinds of things that they would like to do on the path. And so it's nice to aspire to be able to do those kind of things. Yeah. And then when the opportunity comes to do them, don't back away and say, I don't want to do it, because we dedicated for that purpose. And then when the opportunity comes to help sentient beings in that way, then we should step up to the plate and do it. Whether we remember having dedicated for that purpose or not, the opportunity to be of benefit is there, and so take it. In some translators in some Buddhist traditions, instead of translating it as dedicating the merit, they call it transferring the merit. And that can be very misleading because that gives you the impression that merit is like spiritual money in a bank account and you wire some to somebody else's spiritual bank account, which is, I don't know, maybe, in some Pure Land somewhere open from 9 to 5 in that Pure Land time, So it's not like that. We don't transfer merit like you transfer funds. Yeah. What we're actually doing is steering the merit to ripen for the benefit of other people. Yeah, and we can designate specific people that we are praying for, which is very good to do. But what we're doing is basically creating a good atmosphere around that person so that the merit they've created has the opportunity to ripen. because we all experience the results of our own actions, not the results of others. So dedicating our merit for somebody else to have a good condition is not meaning that we can take our merit that would have bought that condition and transfer it to somebody else's account, and then they can use it to buy that good condition themselves. No, we're not doing that. This is not like high finance, okay? It's praying, dedicating, putting the merit in that direction. But how effective it becomes for the other person depends upon if they've created the cause to start with. Because it's like we can go and water somebody else's garden, but if they haven't planted the seeds, nothing is going to grow no matter how much we water. Okay, so they have to plant the seeds, and then we try and help those seeds grow in that direction. Many people ask about how to benefit friends and relatives and so on by dedicating the merit. And so that's good to do after somebody's passed away. We make offerings on their behalf. We do pujas, we do prayers. We dedicate the merit for our friends, relatives, people we read about in the newspaper, whole groups of people who are facing difficulties. We can do all that. The best way to benefit the people we care about is don't wait until they die to dedicate merit. Yeah, teach them how to create their own merit. Okay, so that later on when you dedicate your merit as kind of the water and fertilizer that maybe help their merit to ripen, they'll have merit. Yeah, so encourage your friends and relatives to be generous. Encourage them to get good ethical conduct. If you can see that they're going to get involved in some dirty business deal, counsel them and show them the disadvantages of that. Or if they're doing something that is unethical, or their afflictions are going crazy in their mind, try and help them. Because if you can work with somebody while they're alive in terms of helping them to create virtuous merit and to abandon non-virtue and to purify, that's much more effective for helping them than waiting until after they die. Okay, so just be aware of that and do both. Help them when they're alive, help them afterwards. There is one misunderstanding about dedication that I know I had it initially, and it was that I thought if you dedicate the merit, then it can't be destroyed. And that's not actually the case, because if we read in Shantideva and also in Chandrakirti's Majjhimika Avatara, then they talk about situations where lower level bodhisattvas get angry at higher level bodhisattvas and the amount of merit that gets destroyed from doing that. So even if you've dedicated the merit, it can be destroyed either by generating wrong views or by anger. Yeah, so it's very important after we've put forth the energy to practice well and we've created all this goodness to try and protect it by not getting angry and not generating wrong views. Okay, it's quite important because otherwise it's like, we're a puppy and we take a bath and then we go outside and roll in the mud. It doesn't work very well. Okay, but dedication is a really wonderful kind of practice. It's nice to do at the end of the day, and I often do it. I get into bed, and then while I'm falling asleep, I try and send out good wishes and dedications to people. Of course, it's better to sit up straight and do it then, but yeah. But I'm quite aware, when I lie down at night, I'm in a safe place. Yeah, physically, mentally, I have so many good conditions, and I think of the people in the world who don't have those conditions, and then I make dedication prayers for them. And of course, that's for their physical well-being, which is one level of benefiting sentient beings. But we also especially want to dedicate so that they have open minds, so that they can understand the Dharma, so that they can have faith based on knowledge and conviction. Okay, so we don't just dedicate for temporary physical things. We dedicate also so they have really good conditions for practice, and then that they are able to attain the final spiritual goals. Okay. And so, as with other kinds of generosity, when you dedicate, you feel good. Yeah. So rejoice in your own merit and then share it with everybody. And by dedicating it, you're not making it so that you don't experience the result of your merit. Okay, I say this because one time in Singapore, one man asked me to teach him meditation. So I taught him, and then at the end I said, now we're going to dedicate the merit. And he looked at me like, with a pale face, and he said, but I hardly have any merit. I don't want to dedicate it. And I had to reassure him that by dedicating it, he will still experience the happy result from it. Okay? As you dedicate it, but we experience the result of our own actions, so we still have the benefit too. He was greatly relieved by that. Yeah, and this was the man who actually, he sponsored the first book I ever did, which was a book for free distribution in Singapore called I Wonder Why. Yeah, so he's the one who kind of got me going. Him, and then there was one young man who had cancer, who came to ask a lot of questions. So between the two of them, and then there was a third person, a woman who loaned me a computer. So it all kind of goes back to them. And my high school English teacher, who would faint. You're still making those mistakes? I thought I taught you not to do that. She was a really good teacher.